Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for last week. Last week I got over 1,000 views. Such a blessing. I ask that you all continue to support. Please go to my YouTube channel. I finally have one up. Just type in Justin Harbison in the search bar. You'll see a picture of me on the thumbnail. Please subscribe. I'm going to put the same videos up there. Of course, this is for people who may not be my friends on Facebook that you know. Got them to my channel, and that way also have them comment on what suggestions, what topics they would like for me to discuss over time. Again, there will be a new video every week. I also want to ask this question. Do you all want the videos to be posted on a Saturday or on a Monday? I'm trying the weekend because I know a lot of people are on social media on the weekend, but also on a Monday. Might want to start your week off, excuse me, with some type of inspiration. But however, today we're going to talk about knowing yourself. It's important that people know themselves. Sadly, in our society, people don't know themselves enough. Because of that, they make decisions based upon the perception of someone else. I want to encourage you to be the best you can be. The difference is this. You can be who you want to be, or you can be who somebody calls you to be. If you're someone that you want to be, then you should be confident in that person. But yet, if you're someone that is becoming what someone else wants you to be, you're not going to be fulfilled. Even if you're going to college just because your parents want you to go to college, or if you are pursuing playing an instrument simply because it runs in your family, or if you are pursuing sports because that runs in your family, that might not be for you. The biggest step in becoming an individual is accepting who you are. The hardest step about accepting who you are is knowing who you are. So to sum that up, if you don't know who you are, how can you accept what you're supposed to do? And a lot of that comes from us not taking time to just think. I was reading an article that was written in 2011. I think it's called Self-Compassion, Self-Regulation, and Health. That's the name of the article. And it's interesting because the article was pretty much summing up how negative experiences can cause people to have a hard time having confidence in themselves. The difference is a lot of negative experiences that we go through are our faults. So what do we do when something is our fault? How do we keep going? We know we made a decision and we shouldn't have made that decision, but we have to keep going. Well, the truth is that involves knowing yourself. If you know yourself, then you should know you're going to make mistakes. If you know yourself, you should know that you're going to have some failures. If you know yourself, then you know those failures are actually preparation for something better than the position you were in. The difference is it takes a risk. And a lot of us don't want to take a risk. A lot of us get jobs that we call secure. A lot of us get careers that we call secure. A lot of us become so involved in somebody's life. And some of us, we even get into relationships because we don't know ourselves. We get into relationships because we would rather be in a miserable marriage than to be alone. We get into some relationships because we would rather put up with somebody yelling at us or somebody talking down to you versus sitting in silence. And the truth is that in some silence, you can gain a lot about yourself. But we would rather be miserable than to be happy. Because being miserable with someone else at least gives you a part of who you are, and that's company. Maslow, excuse me, hierarchy of needs talks about how human nature has an inclination for us to want to have a social support system. But if we want to have a social support system, does that mean you have to compromise who you are to achieve that? No, it doesn't. And I really want people to be encouraged that whatever you have in your heart to do, whatever you desire to become, you need to pursue that. My father told me a long time ago, like years ago, son, if you want to be a speaker and a writer, then that needs to be your priority. But I spent years trying to go around the bush, trying to figure out what I wanted to be, simply because it involved a risk. I knew who I was supposed to be, but I wasn't accepting what I was supposed to do because it was easier for me to look for a job and where I have to put in a resume than it was for me to create my own platform and step out on faith. So I'm asking that you all be in a position where you are not like me, where you don't take years to figure out what you're supposed to do, where you don't take months to figure out what it is that is going wrong in your life. When you take a day and you figure out what's wrong in your life and you fix it that same day, please be encouraged that no matter who you are, you can become something greater. The difference is if you don't think yourself greater, then you will never become greater. You can pray all day long, but if you pray and you don't back up that action with some type of action, because prayer is an action, but an action should be followed up by more action, then your prayer is going to stay there. That doesn't mean God doesn't answer your prayers. That doesn't mean what you pray for in faith won't come to you. But what I'm saying simply is this. If a farmer wants his crops to grow, he can pray for rain. But if he hasn't planted a seed, no crops will grow. So I'm saying to you, if you're complaining about not getting a promotion, If you're complaining about the fact that you don't have time to paint, if you're complaining about the fact that you don't have time to write music, if you're complaining about the fact that you don't have time to study for your MCAT or any other medical exams that you may be in the process of studying for, if you have the ability to complain, then that means you have time to gain. That's the difference. If you have the ability to gain, then you have time to gain. It is what you do with your time that determines the direction of your life. Again, this is about knowing yourself, and I just hate to see people who are living in a bubble when it could actually be a wave in the ocean. Do not let the society pop your insecurity. Instead, allow your confidence to be tidal waves for the world. We need people that think outside of the box. We don't need people that are continuing to do the same thing over and over. If you're a janitor, you be the best janitor you can become. But I want you to understand that because you're a janitor, you are still valuable. The difference is this. You're doing something that somebody else doesn't want to do. So you have to know these things about yourself. And I really blame a lot of society for this, because society puts such a high bar on success. And the reason why society puts such a high bar and a high level on success is because nobody knows what it really is. You ever ask somebody what is success? But then the following words are to you. So the following, that full question is, what is success to you? Which means success is going to be different to every person. So let me encourage you with this. Success should simply be you pursuing a passion that when you go to sleep, you think about it. When you wake up, you're thinking about it. When you're working, you're thinking about it. That's what success is. Being in the production. Because you should never become satisfied, because the moment you become satisfied is the moment you quit. And the moment you quit is the moment you've put limits on who you should become. So please do me a favor. Take some time out and know yourself. Take some time out to investigate who you are. Take some time out to discover your passions. Take some time out to think about what people said you can't do, but you know that you're really, really good at. Take some time to think about what you can become instead of thinking about what you cannot become. Thank you. Have a nice week. Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram at Justin Harvison. I'm going to post up some more things next week. Feel free to inbox me any suggestions, any questions. Again, do you want these videos on the weekend, Saturdays, or do you want these videos on Mondays? What do you want me to include in these videos? If you want me to get and share my story next video, let me know if you want to hear some of my story next video, or if you just want me to keep this going with the energy. All right, thank you, and I hope you have a great weekend.